Hello everybody. Let's open Eclipse IDE so that we can start doing some programs in Java. Okay, so let me open. So this is the project structure I have created earlier. Now I already have a demo package. If you want to create your own package, you can come here and create a package like this. Since the package is created, on that I'm actually creating a new class. Any Java program need to be in a class. So let's name this class as displaying content. This is the displaying content program. So any Java program, as you know, you have to write it in public static void main. So let's write public static void main, then string args, and let's say system. So this is where you write actually your code, because public static void main is the signature, which is part of the JVM, and JVM knows that this is the starting point of any Java program. And here is where you are writing your actual output of what you want to display on the screen. You're saying, hello, this is my second program, and semicolon. Then this is your run button, where when you click on it, the output will be displayed here. This is a very basic program to display something on the screen. So instead of that one, let's do something useful rather than just displaying the content. So what we will do is, in this program, we are going to do factorial of a number. Factorial program example. So what is the factorial of a number is, let's say if somebody says 3 factorial, it simply means 1 into 2 into 3. That means from starting with 1, every number keep incrementing until it is equal to the given number. And what is the result? It is 6. Similarly, if you say 5 factorial, it is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5, which is nothing but 120. So this is how the factorial of a number is calculated. The same program we will do using in this session. So first of all, to read input, that is 3 or 5, which is coming from the user, you have to read it, right? So here, if you see in Java, every input is tied to your system standard input streams, or standard output streams, or standard error streams. These are the streams which actually tied to your input output devices. Now, if you want to do something on output, you have to look at the system.out, and something on error you want to look at, then you have to look at system.error stream. Since we are talking about taking input from the user, which generally comes from the keyboard, you have to look at the system.in stream. So to read it, we have a package in Java called scanner. Since we are going to use it, we need to import it, and that comes as part of a package called util. So util is the package where the scanner comes in. So we can say scanner java.util.scanner. I think it is capital. So this is the package. Once you created the package, now here is where we are going to create a scanner object to it, saying scanner sc equal to new scanner. We want to do on keyboard, right? So which is system.in, that is tied to system.in. So you created a scanner object. Now after you created scanner object, you have to read the input from user. Now how to read input? First, let's ask the user to give some number to us. So let's say enter a number. Then now let's read the number. So to read, we use the scanner object sc dot. If you see the scanner, when you created on system.in, which is nothing but your keyboard, it comes with set of functions to read input, and all of them will start with next. You have functions to read input as strings, read input as float, read input as integer. Here in this case, we are talking about just integer numbers. So there is a function called next int. If you just type I, you will get this function. So this is the function to read input from the user as integer. Okay, so it shows some error. Did we miss something? What does it say? Create local variable. So we haven't created this n variable, that's what it says. So before using any variable in Java, you have to declare it. So this is where I'm declaring, saying integer, n is an integer. Now once you have done that, now you have to do you have to calculate the factorial of number. So I'm writing the logic here. I will explain after writing it. So this is the program. Let's run it first. So it's asking a number. I gave 3, it gave me 6. I gave 5, it gave me 120. You can see that it is matching with the answers which we have earlier discussed. I gave 7, it's working perfectly. Now what is that I have done here? So once I read the input from user as an integer, I'm writing a logic on how to calculate. So how the factorial is calculated, it started with 1 and goes up to the given number. Given number is your 5 or 3. This is your n. So if you see in both the cases, it is going up to the number. So what I have done is I started with 1 and just iterating over up to the given number. So here in this case, if you see in the for loop, it just said I'm initializing the variable I, which one is 1. Then I'm saying 1 less than or equal to 3. Here I'm assuming the input value n is 3, and once 1 less than or equal to 3 is correct, so factvar equal to factvar into I. Factvar is just a variable. Since we have to declare a variable before using it, I have declared this here. Now first time what factvar will contain, it has to contain a value at the first time also, so that's why I initialize to 1. Since we are doing product, I initialize to 1. If we are doing sum, let's say for example, in that case we are going to initialize by 0. So here we initialize to 1. Now I increments here and it becomes 2. 2 is less than or equal to 3. It's correct. Then it will multiply factvar into 2. What is the previous value of factvar? 1. So factvar into 2 is factvar becomes 2 again, because it multiplies and stores the result in factvar. Now again I increments to 3. 3 is less than or equal to 3. 3 is equal to 3. The condition still holds good. So it will again multiply with factvar value into I. I is 3. Factvar is 2. 2 into 3. 6. Now I increments to 4. 4 is less than or equal to 3. Condition is wrong because 4 is neither less than 3, neither equal to 3. So the condition is false. So that's where it comes out and prints the factorial of the number value, which is 3 factorial, which is 6, and 7 factorial 5040. This is how we do it. Now if you look at program, there are certain things we actually need to follow. When we are declaring variables, all the declaration having it one place is good rather than scattered like this. So let's move it to a proper place so that it looks more clear. Also, commenting in the program is very important. Like we have given an example here, if it is good, if you just say declaring variables here, so that anybody looks at your code will understand what exactly you're doing. It makes your code more readable. Also for scanner also, you can write creating scanner object here. And here what you are doing, I'm not saying for every line you have to write it, but wherever the places you think makes more sense, keep writing it. Comments are a very good way to document your program. Don't think by putting comments it will overload your program and your execution performance will be slow. Comments are ignored by the compiler. That means when your compiler seeing it, it removes all the comment and executes your code. It just skips it. So there is no execution wise, no problem at all. Only thing is when somebody looks at your code or somebody want to add some functionality to code, it is very easy because your code is more readable. So it is more from the user perspective rather than from a system angle. So here I'm saying reading input from the user, and here what we are doing, calculating factorial. Then here if we want we can put it, otherwise it's not required. So now if you see, it looks more clear what you are doing here, it is very clear. right? So that's why comment helps. Comments are basically used to document your program, and I would encourage you people to use comments where and then possible. And if it is some business logic you're writing, it's must to have comments. It's a good programming practice. Now this code I have written using for loop. The same code I can write using while loop also. So let me comment this code. I'm commenting it. I can use the multi-line comment also. I'm just used to this single line comment, so I've just put it. So if it is while loop, three things you need always. One is the initial value, another is condition, then the increment or decrement step. So I'm putting the initial value, which is I equal to 1, because that's where we have to start it. Then the condition part, where we are saying while I less than or equal to n. This is your condition part. And then you have the actual factorial value you need to calculate. By the way, instead of writing this, you can write the shortcut. Instead of factvar equal to factvar into I, you can even write that in a short form. These are called assignment update operators. You can write even like this. This is same as this. The same applies to other arithmetic operations as well, not just this. If you use plus, minus, every arithmetic operation, you can do a shortcut like this. And then you have to increment it. So either you can increment like this. This is same as your I equal to I plus 1. This is just the C style of post prefix operation. So now let's test the program. Gave 3, answer is correct. Again, I'm running it. I gave 6, answer is correct. So the factorial is coming correctly. So what is the difference between while and for loop? If you clearly observe is, in the case of while, you have to think about three things always. One is your initial value, another is your terminating condition, another is your step value. This is always there, but these three are must for any while loop. Most of the while loop, you need to have this in mind. Okay, so this is must, so that you can put while loop saying this is my initial value, this is the condition to check, and this is the increment or decrement value. Since these are scattered over multiple places and you have to think about it, for loop makes it easier so that you can provide everything in one line. If you see for loop, you can see that this is your initial value, this is your terminating condition, this is your increment or decrement. All that comes in one place, in one line, I would say, so that it is easier to identify where what we are doing, and we can easily tweak also. So maintenance wise, it is easy because everything on one place and all. Whereas in while loop, when the code goes a little bigger, these initial condition, terminating, and the step value scattered. So that way, comparatively, if you see, people prefer for loop because all of that is available in one step. In for loop also, you have different varieties. You have something called iterative for loops, where you don't need increment or step initial value and all, so it automatically picks it up. Those kind of for loops are also there in Java, which are called as labeled for loop or enhanced for loop. Mostly comes into that categories. So understand that wherever you have a particular instance where you want to do everything in one place, your for loop works very well. Where you want to have initial value, terminating condition, and step value all together in one place, it is simply you can put in one place and you can easily handle it, because here if you see, compared to this code is more concise. If you see, only the actual computation part you are writing. Apart from that, the initial value and terminating condition, increment and decrement, which the loop has to take care, is in one place. Whereas here it is scattered. This is your initial value, this is your terminating condition or the condition to check, and this is your increment or decrement value. Sometimes we call it as step value. So that's that these three things has to be taken care, which is generally related to the loop, but actual computation is on this. Okay, thank you.